Hello, this is Ken Wilcox, Senior Minister for the Center for Spiritual Living in Buckhead, and today I have the great pleasure of introducing our first in a series of interviews. My wonderful pleasure is talking with my friend and fellow staff minister, Beverly Molander, and Beverly is going to be conducting a workshop for us. Beverly, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Ken, this workshop started as a wonderful idea in my head, thinking about how many times I have counseled with and talked with people about their past experiences in their lives and how what they are thinking about their lives going forth have to do so much with the history that they are carrying around with them. So I have developed a workshop called Rewriting Your Personal History, choosing what you want to remember. Because as we know in Science of Mind teaching, we have the choice to decide how we look at a situation and how we think about a situation. So this is an opportunity to look even more deeply into our past to see if there's anything in the past that we can look at differently so it won't affect us negatively going forth from this point forward.
And why is it important to choose your memories?
Well, you know, this is what Alfred Adler, who was a psychologist in the 19th century, came up with, and it really hasn't been disputed, that 90% of what we believe about ourselves, about men, women, and the world are brought forth from what we remember from the age of 7 and earlier. So what I remember or how I perceive my relationship, let's say, with men, could be formed from something that I heard or remembered from when I was 4 or 5 years old. So not only am I looking at a current kind of relationship from that perspective, I'm looking at it from a filter of a 4-year-old who maybe didn't hear the whole thing, maybe didn't understand who the person was who was saying or doing this, and then we're combining that with what we perceived was going on when we were 4 to what we remember about it. Now, how many of us can claim that we have even 70% accurate memory of what happened when we were in high school or preschool or last week when we went to dinner with friends? Memory is a faulty thing to begin with. And when we trust it to have us move forward into the rest of our lives, we're really doing ourselves a disservice.
So unless we examine our memories, we're really allowing our lives to be run by a 4-year-old.
Exactly. That's right. And when I was writing the article that is in the April 2011 issue of Western North Carolina Woman magazine about rewriting your personal history, I remembered how devastated I was at a family reunion playing croquet with all the relatives, and my crotchety Aunt Ruth, who was older and always had a reputation of being, you know, the edgy one. I was trying to do something, and she said, "Betty Ann, stop doing that. You're not the only pickle in the barrel." And what she meant by that was, you're not so hoity-toity. You're nothing special.
Right.
I'm not paying any attention to you. That's the way I perceived it.
Right.
And think about how devastating that would be and how embarrassing that would be for me to try to overcome it as, like, let's say, a 5-year-old. It wasn't easy.
Right. And how do you overcome those memories?
Well, one thing is we can look at it by saying, well, wait a minute, I've been thinking this about me, that I am selfish and I always want attention and that I don't deserve it. I've been thinking about that about myself because my Aunt Ruth told me that during a croquet game when I was 6 years old. So it's kind of like looking, you know, you've heard this phrase, consider the source.
Right.
So when we have an opportunity to look at who has influenced our lives, we also have an opportunity to look and consider the source. Is that a worthwhile source for us to consider? Or were there other things going on with that person that we weren't even privy to because we were so little?
Exactly.
So when we are looking at how we think about our history, and much more important, really, is how we talk about our history. Then we can be perceived by ourselves as, they say history was written by the victors.
Right.
So if you want to be a victor, you can write your history.
Exactly.
To make it benefit you. And not even lie.
Right.
You're not lying. You're not saying something. You're not painting a picture of just total rose-colored glasses here. You're choosing what to remember and how to talk about it to the rest of the world.
Tell us a little bit about the workshop, what it will look like, what we can expect.
Well, this is definitely an experiential workshop in that we're going to be dividing into groups. We're going to be doing writing and sharing and looking at our history from a whole lot of different perspectives. And then we're going to be practicing how to present ourselves from this point forward. Because, a lot of us talk about our past as though we're victims.
Right.
And we just keep having to find excuses to find more reasons to show people that we really are victims and that we really do have people to blame for why we're not being successful or why we're not happy. So we're going to be, deconstructing and reconstructing some things, and it's going to end up being a lot of fun.
Excellent.
And we're going to have, it'll be a confidential environment because we'll be talking about our pasts. But in the same token, I am not a psychotherapist, so it's not going to be delving into your deep, dark past and resolving it in a 3-hour period. We're not going to be going there. So this will be from 9 to 12 on Saturday, April 30th at the Garden Hills Community Center in Buckhead, right next to the Garden Hills Pool, where the Center for Spiritual Living in Buckhead has its Sunday services.
And what's the cost?
It is a love offering. And
Excellent.
what we say in Science of Mind is that you give your good to where you are receiving your good. So when you are receiving your good from a workshop or from a service, then you contribute to it because you're telling the universe, this is what I want more of. This is how I want to grow, and I appreciate it. So I would expect it to be a generous love offering, not just a token, throwing something in a bucket.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be an excellent seminar, and I think it's going to be very helpful to a lot of people. So, Beverly, thank you for taking time to talk with us today, and we'll see you on the 30th.
Thank you, Ken.
Bye now.
Bye.